What is it like living in Greenland? Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in a place where the sun doesn't set for months, then disappears completely for even longer? Where your nearest neighbor might be hundreds of miles away, and a loaf of bread costs more than a fancy dinner back home. Today we're diving deep into one of the most extreme places humans call home, Greenland, where life operates by completely different rules than anywhere else on Earth. I'm about to take you on a journey to understand what daily existence looks like in the world's largest island, where indigenous traditions meet modern challenges, and where climate change isn't just news, it's reshaping everything about how people live, work, and survive. Let me start with something that'll blow your mind. Greenland is massive, over 800,000 square miles, but only about 56,000 people live there. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the population of a mid-sized American city spread across an area 3 times the size of Texas. Most of this enormous landmass is covered by an ice sheet up to 2 miles thick, which means nearly everyone lives along the coast in small settlements that cling to the edge of one of the world's most unforgiving environments. The capital city, Nuuk, is home to about 18,000 people, making it practically a metropolis by Greenlandic standards. But even Nuuk feels like a small town where everyone knows everyone else's business. Walking through its colorful wooden houses scattered across rocky hills, you'll find a fascinating blend of traditional Inuit culture and Danish colonial influence, since Greenland is actually an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Now let's talk about what daily life actually looks like, because it's unlike anywhere else you've probably imagined living. First, there are no roads connecting the towns and settlements. None. If you want to visit your friend in the next town over, you're either taking a boat in summer, a helicopter year-round, or waiting for winter when you might be able to travel by snowmobile across frozen terrain. This isolation shapes everything about how communities function and how people relate to each other. Before we dive into how Greenland's extreme weather and endless nights affect daily life, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you love discovering the hidden sides of life around the world. And don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who loves travel documentaries, and drop a comment telling me if you could live in a place with no roads between towns. The weather is obviously a huge factor in daily life, but it's more complex than just it's cold. Greenland experiences some of the most extreme seasonal variations on the planet. During summer in the northern parts, the sun literally doesn't set for months. Imagine trying to maintain a normal sleep schedule when it's bright daylight at midnight. Then winter flips this completely, plunging communities into months of polar night where the sun doesn't rise at all. People adapt by using blackout curtains and light therapy lamps, but the psychological impact of these extreme light cycles affects everyone differently. The cold itself is a constant presence that influences every decision. We're talking about average winter temperatures that can drop to -30 Fahrenheit, with wind chills making it feel even colder. Stepping outside improperly dressed can literally be life-threatening within minutes. People develop an almost intuitive understanding of layering clothing, and everyone owns serious cold weather gear that would cost thousands of dollars elsewhere. Even simple tasks like starting a car become complex rituals involving engine block heaters and careful preparation. Housing in Greenland tells its own story about adaptation and survival. Most buildings are constructed on stilts to prevent the permafrost underneath from melting due to heat from the structure. Houses are built to withstand incredible wind and snow loads, with steep roofs designed to shed snow and triple-pane windows to maintain any hope of keeping heat inside. Heating costs are astronomical, and many families spend a huge portion of their income just staying warm. Some remote settlements still rely on oil deliveries by ship once a year, meaning if something goes wrong with the heating system in January, you're in serious trouble. Food culture in Greenland is absolutely fascinating and shaped entirely by geography and climate. Traditional Inuit foods like seal, whale, fish and caribou aren't just cultural preferences. They're practical necessities in a place where fresh vegetables are impossible to grow locally and incredibly expensive to import. A single tomato might cost several dollars, while fresh lettuce can be more expensive per pound than premium beef in other countries. Many families still engage in traditional hunting and fishing, not as hobbies, but as essential ways to supplement their food supply and maintain their cultural connection to the land. The imported food situation reveals just how expensive and logistically challenging life in Greenland can be. Everything from toilet paper to smartphones has to be shipped in, often through complex routes involving multiple transfers. A gallon of milk might cost 3 times what you'd pay in Europe or North America. This creates an economy where local production and traditional skills become incredibly valuable, and where families plan purchases months in advance. Education presents unique challenges when you're dealing with such a scattered population. Many children in smaller settlements attend school via video conference or correspondence, while others are sent to regional centers for their education, sometimes living away from their families for months at a time. The education system operates in both Greenlandic and Danish, reflecting the complex cultural identity that residents navigate daily. Healthcare access varies dramatically depending on where you live. Nuuk has a proper hospital, but smaller settlements might have just a nurse or health aide. Serious medical emergencies often require helicopter evacuation to Denmark, weather permitting. This reality means people develop a different relationship with risk and self-reliance than you'd find in places with easy access to emergency services. The social fabric of Greenlandic communities is incredibly tight-knit out of necessity. When you're isolated with the same few hundred people through months of polar night, social harmony becomes crucial for everyone's mental health and survival. Community events, traditional celebrations, and shared meals take on extra significance as ways to maintain social bonds and combat the psychological challenges of isolation and extreme weather. Technology has transformed life in Greenland in recent decades, but in ways that highlight the unique challenges of the environment. Internet connectivity allows people to maintain connections with the outside world and access services remotely, but the physical infrastructure required to maintain communications in such a harsh environment is incredibly expensive and fragile. Power outages during storms can cut off entire communities for days or weeks. Climate change is reshaping Greenlandic life in real time, and residents are on the front lines of witnessing environmental transformation. Traditional hunting patterns are disrupted as ice forms later and melts earlier. Some communities are dealing with increased coastal erosion, while others are seeing changes in wild migration patterns that have been stable for generations. The massive ice sheet that covers most of the island is melting at accelerating rates, contributing to global sea level rise, while also opening up new economic opportunities through increased access to mineral resources and shipping routes. The economy of Greenland is heavily dependent on fishing, particularly shrimp and halibut exports, along with some mining operations. Many people work in government services, since the public sector is a major employer in such a small population. Tourism is growing as more people become curious about Arctic experiences, but the infrastructure to support visitors is still quite limited and expensive to develop. Living in Greenland means accepting a pace of life that's dictated by natural cycles and weather patterns rather than human schedules. When a blizzard hits, everything stops. When the ice breaks up in spring, entire communities reorganize around fishing and hunting opportunities. This creates a rhythm of life that's simultaneously more stressful and more natural than what most people experience in urban environments. The mental health aspects of Greenlandic life are significant and complex. The combination of extreme isolation, harsh weather, limited daylight for months, and economic challenge creates conditions where depression and suicide rates are unfortunately high. However, communities have also developed strong support networks and maintain cultural practices that provide psychological anchoring and meaning. Despite all these challenges, people who choose to stay in or move to Greenland often speak about the profound connection to nature, the strength of community bonds, and the unique satisfaction of living successfully in one of Earth's most challenging environments. There's a pride in mastering the skills needed to thrive in conditions that would quickly overwhelm most people, and a deep appreciation for the raw beauty of the Arctic landscape. Living in Greenland ultimately means embracing a lifestyle where human ingenuity and adaptation are constantly tested against one of the planet's most demanding environments, where traditional knowledge and modern technology must work together for survival, and where the very concept of what constitutes normal daily life gets completely redefined by the extraordinary circumstances of place and climate.